Just 2 days after Virginia and New Jersey elected women as governors, bringing the tally up to 14 now women governors, which is the most we've had in this country at any given time, the New York Times ran this. They pretty quickly changed the title to this, replacing women with liberal feminism. So as a woman who is a liberal feminist who studies gender, my recommendation is that you not read this article unless you really want to be frustrated, but I'll give you some highlights. This is the transcript of a podcast Ross Douthat did with two conservative women who have actually pretty different ideas about what's wrong with liberal feminism. One of the women, Leah Sargent, seems to make one main argument, at least in this podcast, which is that women working is against our nature, and that's in large part because it forces us to delay marriage and delay childbearing, which is what she sees as our inherent nature. The more provocative, or you might even say wacky things in this podcast come from the other guest, a woman named Helen Andrews, who's the former managing editor of the Washington Examiner. She makes a lot of arguments that I don't think are in alignment with reality. For example, she talks about an essay that she's published called The Great Feminization. I did also read that essay. Again, I would not recommend unless you would like to be very frustrated. But in that essay and in this podcast, she talks about some key things that she sees as problematic in our modern day workplaces, specifically because of women. One argument she makes is that feminization is the cause of what she calls wokeness. It's hard to know exactly what she means by wokeness, but an example that she gives is around the Me Too movement and this idea she has that the Me Too movement made it such that everyone was forced to believe all women. And I don't know if she's heard of people like Amber Heard, for example, but that argument does not hold water. She also seems to interpret wokeness as shutting down conversations, and I'm not sure if she knows who's behind book bans. She also seems to have some sense that masculinity is like outlawed in workplaces. As a woman surgeon who's worked in a very obviously male-dominated profession for my entire career, I don't understand how anyone who has worked in the real world could come to that conclusion. She actually argues that the only reason there are so many women in professions like medicine and the law is because anti-discrimination laws have, as she puts it, put a thumb on the scale, making it such that women who at some point she suggests are not qualified are getting access to spaces because of anti-discrimination laws specifically. She also argues both in terms of anti-discrimination in general and specifically with regard to Title IX,